The pounding rain turned the asphalt into a black river reflecting truck headlights. Sister Mary pulled her hood higher, shielding herself from the icy water dripping down her neck. Her old Fiat had decided to give up right there, on the highway connecting the convent to Turin, and she absolutely had to get there. Mother Superior was in intensive care after her heart attack. She waved desperately at approaching headlights, hoping someone would stop in this storm. Car after car passed by, their occupants probably thinking she was just some crazy person. Then, with a thunderous hiss of air brakes, a massive 18-wheeler pulled over ahead. A bearded, exhausted face appeared at the passenger window, squinting through the rain. "Where are you headed, sister?" Marco's voice was rough from years of cigarettes and shouting. 45 years old, recently divorced, he'd just lost his steady job at the factory. Now he drove long-haul trucks for whoever would hire him, surviving on coffee and gas station food. Santana Hospital in Turin, if it's not too much trouble. Sister Mary climbed into the massive cabin, her wet robes dripping onto the worn leather seats. The cab smelled of diesel fuel, stale coffee, and deep, pervading loneliness. Marco grunted something unintelligible and pulled back onto the highway with his massive cargo. Heavy silence fell between them, broken only by windshield wipers fighting the relentless rain. He'd always harbored deep resentment toward anything church-related after what happened to him. His wife Sarah had run off 6 months ago with Father Antonio, the handsome young priest. She'd taken their 8-year-old daughter Emma, claiming Marco's spiritual emptiness made him unfit. "God has other plans for us," she'd said while packing. "What kind of plans destroy families?" "Rough night?" she asked gently, noticing his white-knuckled grip on the steering wheel. "Every night's rough, sister. Hell, every day too." His voice carried years of bitterness. "You probably know that better than most, right? Otherwise you wouldn't be hitchhiking." Sister Mary smiled sadly, an expression that seemed to carry the weight of 1,000 tragedies. "You're right, I'm rushing to see my Mother Superior. She had a massive heart attack today. The doctors don't think she'll make it through the night. She's been like a mother to me." Marco felt a stab of guilt for his harsh tone. Here she was facing death while he complained. "Jesus, I'm sorry. That's terrible. I hope she pulls through." "Thank you, but you know, we're all fighting battles others can't see. What's yours?" Marco laughed bitterly, a sound completely devoid of any humor or warmth. "Where do I start? Lost my job when the factory closed 3 months ago. Wife left me for the village priest. Yeah, you heard that right. A goddamn priest took my little girl with her. Now I'm living in this truck, taking whatever jobs I can find. My daughter thinks I'm some kind of monster because that's what her mother tells her. You know what the worst part is? My daughter Emma used to draw me pictures every single day. Little stick figures of our family holding hands, going on adventures together. Now she won't even take my phone calls. 8 years old and already thinks daddy's worthless." They drove in heavy silence for several long minutes. As the rain continued its assault. "Can I tell you something I've never shared with anyone except my confessor?" Marco glanced at her curiously, wondering what secrets a nun could possibly harbor. "I haven't always been a nun. Before taking my vows, I lived a very different life. I was 19 when my twin brother Michael died in a horrific motorcycle accident. He was my best friend, my other half. We'd planned to travel the world together." "Thank you, but here's the part I'm ashamed of. I completely lost my mind afterward. I blamed God, blamed the world, blamed everyone for taking away the most important person. I spent 3 years drinking heavily, getting into fights in bars, sleeping around. I even got this tattoo." She rolled up her sleeve, revealing a faded upside-down cross. "I thought I was rebelling against God by inverting his most sacred symbol." Marco's eyes widened in complete shock. This gentlewoman had been a drunk and a brawler. What happened? How did you end up like this, wearing a habit and serving God? "One night, completely wasted, I stole a car and wrapped it around a telephone pole. Should have died instantly doing 90, but somehow walked away with just cuts and bruises. When I woke up in the hospital, there was this elderly nun sitting beside my bed. Sister Frances was holding my hand and crying like I was her own lost daughter. I asked her why she was crying for a complete stranger, especially one as messed up as me. She said, because I can see all the love you're wasting on pain and destructive anger. Imagine what incredible things you could accomplish if you channeled that passionate energy into healing." Marco felt something strange stirring in his chest, a warmth he hadn't felt in months. "And you just believed her? Just like that, after years of anger and self-destruction?" "God, no. I thought she was a crazy old bat who didn't understand the real world. I cursed at her, told her to leave me alone, even threw a water pitcher at the wall, but she kept coming back every single day. Never preaching, never judging, just present. When I completed court-awarded rehab, she offered me a job cleaning floors at their soup kitchen. Why'd you take a job like that? You could have done anything else. Honestly, free meals and a place to sleep. I was homeless, broke, and completely alone. But working there, I started seeing something I'd never noticed in my self-absorbed pain. I watched Sister Frances serve meals to homeless veterans with the same tenderness she'd shown me. I saw former drug addicts helping current addicts get clean and rebuild their shattered lives. Everyone there had been broken at some point, but found ways to transform pain into purpose. They were getting close to Turin now, the city lights creating a soft glow on the horizon. Marco realized he didn't want this conversation to end, didn't want to be alone again. My daughter Emma loves butterflies and drawing and telling elaborate stories about magical fairies. When she was 5, she told me I was her favorite person in the whole universe. Now she flinches when I try to hug her goodbye after our court-supervised visits. Sister Mary turned to face him with eyes full of compassion and understanding. Tell me about one perfect moment you shared with her before everything fell apart. Last summer we went camping, just me and her, before the divorce proceedings started. We spent an entire afternoon catching fireflies in mason jars while she made up names. This one's Princess Sparkles, and that one's Sir Glowsalot, she said, so seriously. That night she fell asleep in my lap watching stars, and I thought I was the luckiest man alive. That love doesn't just evaporate, Marco, it gets tested, buried under pain, but never dies. Maybe what you're going through isn't the end of your story with Emma. Maybe it's the beginning of becoming the man she needs you to be. The hospital came into view, its emergency room entrance glowing like a beacon of hope. Marco pulled up to the drop-off area, but made no move to put the truck in park. Sister, do you really believe someone like me could change after losing everything? Sister Mary smiled, the same radiant smile Sister Frances had given her years ago. You stopped for a stranger in a thunderstorm, didn't you? You listened without judgment. You shared your deepest pain with someone you'd known for an hour. That's not giving up. She opened the door but paused, looking back at him with maternal warmth. There's a support group for separated fathers at St. Joseph's Parish downtown, Thursdays at 7 p.m. Just men helping other men figure out how to be better fathers. And Marco, write Emma a letter. Tell her about the fireflies. Tell her you love her. 6 weeks later, Sister Mary walked through the convent garden after Mother Superior's recovery. She heard familiar laughter from the soup kitchen and saw Marco serving dinner to homeless people. He looked different somehow, lighter, more alive, teaching a boy how to ladle soup properly. He waved and pointed to a framed drawing taped to the window. Fireflies under stars. For Daddy, Love Emma was written in careful child's handwriting at the bottom. Marco had found his way home, and Emma was counting days until visiting her transformed father.